Okay, I'm back. So, I had to go and tell Mom about my leg. So, anyways, so I tried Celtic Reconstructionism and especially Druidry for a while, and I felt like I was at home, but then after a while I stopped feeling that way. So I once again went on the internet, and I still kept my Danu statue, even though I really wasn't a fan of its little base. So I went ahead and I started checking other ones out to see if I could finally find my niche. And I was still doing things that was still considered Wicca, just, habit. So then I found Paganism, and I had always been in love with Egypt. I'd always been in love with the Egyptian deities. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved Egypt. I loved the pyramids, I loved the temples, I loved the tombs. I loved hearing about the great pharaohs. So I was really fascinated with Egypt, and I decided to start practicing that one because I was drawn to that particular culture. And then, unfortunately I wasn't active on the internet. In fact, we didn't have the internet when I was up in Massachusetts. And mainly because we just didn't have the money for it. And when you're dirt poor, you don't really have money. And the only time I was ever on the internet was at the library, and that's how come I was able to order my Danu statue and all that, and I was able to get the information. So, let me see, I'm trying to put this into some type of line of thinking here. So at the time that I started to honor the Egyptian gods, I discovered the Greek gods, even though I really didn't discover them. And I found out that Egypt had become Hellenized, and by the time of Cleopatra's death, Egyptian practice was not as, I would say, not as pure as it had been during like Menes and Ramses and all that. So when we moved to where we moved, when I opened up Isis Priestess originally, that was when you could have the color and all that type of stuff. I started to buy Egyptian statuary, and I started to do videos. I had bought a Seth statue, I had bought a number of different kinds. And when I started becoming public as a Kemetic, even though I was also honoring the Hellenic deities as well, the Afrocentric elements came to visit, and I was attacked for being white and all that. And of course there was a video I did about something, I'm not going to talk about that. I was really attacked for. So I love Kemeticism, and I was strictly honoring the Greek gods. And then I was on YouTube, and I don't know how it happened, but I found heathenism, and I got to a point in my spirituality that I was practicing all these different paths. I was still doing some Wicca on the side, astrological, astrological hours, magical days of the week, things like that. And so I was really worried that I was not going to be taken seriously anymore. I had seen people say, oh, I've been in Hellenism for 5 years, I've been in heathenism for 20 years. And I wanted that. I wanted to say I had been involved in something for a certain period of time. So I was busy on the internet, and I'm gonna tell you something. The table that I used for my computer monitor, I was on this crate, and I'm telling you something. It was so uncomfortable. But I was on the internet, and I inadvertently um, came across Roman paganism, and I noticed that you could honor and follow any kind of deity, Egyptian, Greek, heathen, didn't matter. You could follow it. You could honor them, you could leave them offerings, things like that. And I'm like, wow, this religion has all the deities I had honored that I still loved, and I don't have to go outside and everything. So I decided to give it a try, and I had a statue of Hermes, and I knew that his Roman name was Mercury. And so it took me some time to stop saying Hermes and start saying Mercury, and I did little things like I burned incense and I left food offerings and I poured libations. It wasn't anything that was structured, it was what I felt like doing. And so I really liked it. Unfortunately, we moved. We moved from Massachusetts down here, and I was even more limited on what I could do. I didn't have the internet anymore. I set up an altar immediately, but I didn't have anything that was Roman. And so I couldn't practice Roman paganism. I wanted to have the shrine, I wanted all this stuff. So about nearly 3 years ago, we got the internet back in, which was great. It was actually in my name, and I decided that I was going to join a Roman paganism group. And I found Nova Roma, and I really loved it. And I'm telling you, I still love Nova Roma. I still love being a member of Nova Roma. And I had just gotten an email address and everything, and I signed up and I got application approved. It was free to join. I loved that. I love the fact is I didn't have to pay a yearly fee to stay in. And then I discovered that Nova Roma had kicked out all the cultists. And somebody on Facebook had suggested that I join Cultus Decorum. And so I did. And I love it. And what I'm doing now, even though I do sometimes practice a little bit of Wicca with the herbs and the spell work and stuff like that, and I think I always will, is that I can have the different pantheon of gods. I can have the Norse, I can have the Greek, I can have the Egyptian, I can have the Celtic, and I can still be a cultist, and I can still say that I am honoring, I'm following my ancestral religion. And it's very, very, very difficult to find your path. And I know for some people it's really easy, but for a lot of people, you think you know your path, but then things happen and you go on this really weird journey where you go from one thing to another until you finally find where you really belong. And I really belong in the Cultus Decorum. I joined Roman Revivalist Paganism on Facebook. I joined Celebrate Roman Altars, and all that. And it's great. I love it. I absolutely love this particular brand of paganism. And also I feel like that I am honoring my ancestors and the gods that they honored back when Rome was Rome, before Christianity came around and everything. So it has taken me a very long time, and I have gone through many different things, but I have found my home in Roman paganism. I love it, and so so videos I'm going to be doing, I almost said movies. Videos I'm going to be doing are going to be centered around Roman paganism, and I'm going to be doing various different kinds. But I do promise people that have been following me for 5 months that I will still be doing ISIS and everything like that. Yeah. I'm gonna let you guys go, so I'm gonna take a break. I have a little over an hour before I start doing my Roman ritual, and it's not going to be based on any group or any website or anything like that. It is going to be a very simple way for me to do it, and yeah. So I look forward to your comments, and definitely looking forward to hearing what you think about my Roman ritual, and I will see you guys then. So till next time, may you be blessed, and I hope one day everybody will find where they belong. Bye.